Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Today is probably the last day that we're going to be building this set. We're almost done with it. So we're going to get started very, very soon. Let's get the music playing. I already have bag 22 out. We're going to be building that without delay. I just need to prepare a few small things first. I have to skip the ads as usual. Some things never change. I'm going to improve the image quality in a moment. And I got 2 more ads. Now they're giving us 4 ads in a row. Throw a hi or hello in the chat if you're listening. All right. And by the way, here are the minifigures that we built so far. There's 7. And I think there's at least 2 more, maybe 3 more. I'm going to temporarily rotate this just to give myself a bit more space to work. And I'll bring it back later so we see the whole build. Here are the pieces of this bag. No minifigure in bag 22. And I don't see any special or unique parts either. Not yet, at least. This could be considered a somewhat special part, although we have seen it before. Yeah, it has a nice Roman architecture kind of style, which is appropriate for an Italian Riviera. You got the same piece in brown. It's not new, but it's nice to see. And if you're new here, please remember to like and share the stream. Subscribe if you have not already, and it really helps out the channel. welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm currently doing bag 22 of the Italian Riviera. I'm sure a lot of these yellow bricks came from the jazz club. And since that's retiring soon and this one just came out, it ensures that all these cool yellow bricks will remain in circulation, which is very nice. Well, if you like that color. And I do like this color. I do think it could be used in like mocks of cakes and stuff. Fruits, buildings, I guess, although it's been used in buildings a bit too much these days. Not complaining, but just if you make a building in this color, it will not be a totally original thing that no one has ever done before. Placing these tiles is always fun. a bunch of these ingots. We know what to do with them by now. There are 4 per window, so 12 in total. Good thing we're adding them in phases and not all at the end. Imagine applying all these ingots to the finished build. Like, for example, here you don't build these and at the very end you add all the ingots all at once. That would not be fun. These are dark green, by the way, which contrasts well against the cool yellow. But when the lighting is not good, they could appear to be black. But before we actually put the windows together, let's do a bit of the interior. We actually have one sticker. We're almost done with the sticker sheet, by the way. Which makes sense since we're almost done with the build. It's that round sticker that I'm afraid of. And maybe I'll leave it off. I already messed up one of the round stickers in this set on a previous video. And if you know what this is in reference to, let us know in the chat. I'm going to try to get it to focus. Yeah, there's a minifigure dancing in front of an opera. I don't know if it's a generic thing or a specific character or a specific media production from the Lego universe or from something in Italy that's very famous. If you do know, please share. That's a nice little build for a table or a... It's going to be a TV table with a TV attached on top of it. But just before I add the TV, I want to look at the table itself. Oh, this is not fully attached. Yeah, there we go. I do like the style here. It does look very classical, very elegant. And these are studs, by the way. So we have 6 studs at the top. Yeah, that's a nice design right there. And we're going to add the TV on top of it. And the TV is done very interestingly. It's one of those old CRT TVs. But the year is 2025 according to the sticker sheet. So this is probably some old guy who has not gotten around to updating their TV yet. I don't know how common these CRT TVs are in Italia in 2025. I don't think they're very common. Hello, Spidey Steve. Thank you so much for joining us. So here's what that TV looks like on its own. Looks pretty bulky. And here it is compared to the size of a minifigure. Yeah, it seems about right. The minifigure would have a hard time lifting this in the LEGO universe. You just attach this here. There are no cables, so we're gonna have to imagine that, but that's a nice little build right there. The next build we have is a sofa. This is something that we have seen before in various minor variations. Now, how many minifigures can sit on this thing? I hope 2. Let's try to make 2 minifigures sit on this thing. Well, this is going to be placed against the wall, so they cannot sit like this. They would have to sit like this. So you could make one person sit here, but there is no way to sit a second minifigure here. So this is more for decoration than for actual minifigures to sit on. If you want to make minifigures sit on this thing, you would want to expand it by 1 more stud at least, or 2 more studs. Then you could have 2 minifigures sitting side by side. You have to use your own pieces though. So as this is right now, you can only use 1 minifigure with it. And we're not done with this thing. I don't know if anyone does that these days, but at least back in, well, according to this set, people would place flowers next to the TV. I've never seen anyone do that in recent memory. So basically here, add a flower. I think it's a bit out of place in my opinion. I would move this elsewhere. But again, that's the good thing about Lego, so if you don't like this here, you literally can just pick it up and put it here if you want to, in the middle of the floor, and put it wherever you want. So I'm not going to complain about this. I just think it's weird. Okay, so now to place the TV, and so the TV goes here next to this inner wall, which is right next to the balcony. The sofa is going to be right next to it, like this. So that's what that would look like. And with that being built, we can build up the walls. for every window we do something slightly different just to keep things interesting, which I appreciate. It gives the whole set, the whole structure, some additional character and texture. And we don't do that here because we have the balcony, so we do things slightly differently over here. It's so fun to see these windows come together. We have this that needs to go somewhere. Try to find its place. Actually, it looks like the TV is placed on these two. Which are in turn placed here. All right, so that's what that looks like in the end. I guess it's a bit more consistent. Even with all the lighting, it's hard to see this dark color, at least on my screen, but maybe you can see it better. So yeah, that's nice. Bag 22 builds the structure above the diving shop with a bit of the balcony and this nice TV setup and couch on the other side that only seats one minifigure. We also build a bunch of these windows with a slightly different pattern from before. Next up is bag number 23. Which is this bag right here. Looks like we do get a minifigure in this bag. And we also have to deal with that rounded sticker. Oh no. But at least the orientation doesn't matter that much. Okay, I think we can do it. There's going to be some really nice part usage in this bag. So first things first, let's do the minifigure. This is going to be a dive or surf enthusiast. Is this Nia from Ninjago? This might be Nia from Ninjago who retired to Italy. That would be so funny if it's actually her. Oh, but the hair is not the same. Or maybe she dyed her hair. Interesting. Let me see, can I look this up real quick? I'll see if I can find this information quickly. I have my laptop next to me, or I can look at the set inventory if it's out and sort it out on Bricklink. If my browser doesn't crash. Yeah, I'm really curious if that's her. And we have sticker here. So as usual for these round pieces, I'm gonna try to align it. There are no plates to align with. The thing is, this design doesn't really matter if it's like this or like this or like this. So I think I'll actually not bother with that this time. So yeah, let's just apply this. And with these round stickers, you always want to be very careful. The same thing with stickers on rounded parts. Basically, anything that's not a rectangular sticker on a rectangular part that's perfectly flat is a recipe for caution. So I do notice that the sticker is not perfectly symmetrical. There's this part right here that's like wearing off a little bit, but I'm gonna ignore that. Just place the sticker like this, because I do not want to reapply this sticker. Okay, not as bad as I had feared. And I think these things have a specific name in terms of their design. I just don't know what it is off the top of my head. It looks kind of like a big doily, very fancy doily if you know that reference. Let's see here. Six three seven 2016. So it looks like this is not Nia from Ninjago. I did the research just now because I was very curious. But this minifigure, or this face, this minifigure head piece has appeared in LEGO City. It has also been a LEGO collectible minifigure. And it also appears in the Chinese New Year, Lang Knight's Castle, Monkey Kid, and the Natural History Museum, although I don't remember this exact face from that set. And also the Orient Express train, which is also another Lego Ideas set. So it might be like Nia's hidden sister or something like that, but they have never used this exact face for Nia specifically. All right, with that mystery out of the way, we can start doing the actual build for bag 23. Let's do this side first. Again, we're using the headlight bricks here to give a bit of texture. This door opens to the outside like most Lego doors, but is stopped by this here. Did I put that in the right place? Yes. Okay, maybe there's a reason why they did that. I do like working on small components like this. They're very easy to manage, and later they can be plugged into the main build instead of having to build on top of a very big structure. This feels like I'm building a cake just because of the colors. I feel like I want to get lemon cake after this. And like adding the tan and the white makes it look even more like a cake. Everything naturally fits just perfectly. Although looking down, the walls are quite high. It's going to be hard to see what's going on in here. But the door helps, and the fact that this is open from the back also helps. So we're done with the walls, but we still have lots of pieces in the pile. So what's the deal with those? Well, we have some very interesting part usage. So first of all, we have this candlestick piece. It's usually used obviously for candles. Here we're going to be using it for something else. We're going to use it for the balcony. So I'll just insert all the candlestick pieces where they're going to go. And you're going to see it start to take shape. It was off by one. This reminds me a little bit of the Natural History Museum. All right, the next piece is quite interesting. It's going to be this. So this is a minifigure spoon recolored to black. And that's a very interesting piece to use here. So we'll just use that in all the places where we don't have the candlestick. That's a pretty interesting part usage right there. I don't know if it was the fan designer who did this or the Lego designer, but either way, that's definitely a smart choice. Of course, it helps when you can recolor elements to better fit what you're doing. And only Lego designers can do that. Right, the next part usage is actually related to Formula One of all things. Remember those Formula One packs that replaced the collectible minifigures this summer? Well, this piece is from there, and apparently they knew that in advance. They designed everything in advance, so they were able to use this piece for this set as well. Those cars got designed or got announced very early in September of last year, I believe. They announced them for like May, so very big delay between the time when people knew about this piece versus when the set actually came out. So that must have given them enough time to add this to the redesign of the build, which I find to be interesting. And of course, they must have known about it beforehand, before they announced the whole thing. Still fast relative to other LEGO projects. So yeah, that's some very nice part usage for the balcony right there. Just gonna finish it off with a few more pieces. And a small plant right here. And we're gonna do the table. And this one is very simple in its build. You just put that there. There's what that looks like. And here we have a lamp similar to what we did before with the same nice part usage of the paint roller piece. So you could use this to roll paint. I think this came out, I don't know if it was the first time it came out, but it was used definitely in the pet shop modular from 2011. We're using it again here. Definitely LEGO has come a very long way since 2011. Yeah, there we go. That's inserted right here, and we use something similar in the tutor corner for the flower planters, basically using the same piece in a similar way. All right, we're not done, since we also have to do the satellite dish. Here we're using some nice part usage. We're using this dish piece as a satellite dish. This is a robot arm. Actually, it's attached to this piece and not attached directly. And this piece actually is perfect for this. We usually use this for Star Wars and stuff to represent weapons, but it also can be used in this purpose as like that receiver thing. So the way a satellite works is that like it gathers all those signals and reflects them onto this receiver, and then this receiver actually sends the signal to wherever it needs to go. Basically, stuff is going to bounce off of the satellite into here and go into this cable, and we're going to use our imagination a little bit, but eventually we understand that it goes to the TV, and so we see this performance right here. It's kind of visible through the window, but not as much. Yeah. And we still have a few more pieces to go. These are probably going to be some planters of some sort. Yep. Yeah, these studs obviously are going to attach something on top of them. And these are the relatively new flower pieces from the botanical garden last year. Now we get them in orange. So this is, okay, this has to be placed somewhere. It might just be the accessory for the minifigure. So yeah, we'll just consider this a minifigure accessory because there's no place to attach it. Everything else is extra pieces. And I'll just bring the minifigures a bit closer to frame. I'll worry about the accessories of the minifigures later. Yeah, so there we go. For those of you who are new to the live stream, welcome and thank you so much for joining. Bag 23 continues the build of the residence above the dive shop. We complete the balcony right here with some nice part usage with these spoons and candlestick pieces. And this new piece from Formula One. We add this table that has a sticker, some planters all around, and this very nice satellite dish that's done in an interesting way that I've not seen before. And we complete the walls and these slopes for the roof that we're going to be attaching soon. We also get this minifigure in this bag that looks like Nia, but actually is not Nia from Ninjago. So we actually have one more bag to finish the main build of the set. Just one more bag. And the other bag, the bag that comes after that, is not for the main build, but rather for the ship or the boat that comes along with it. So we're very, very close to finishing. And that's good news. And so how are we liking the build so far? Please share your thoughts in the chat. I always want to hear your opinions and what you think about things. Bag 24 is next. Looks like it's just going to be this roof and nothing else, but we'll see with the bag. This is another contain. Actually, it's going to be the two roofs because we built the roof for not just this part that we just did, but also the other part that's above the gelatos. So we're going to basically build all the remaining roofs in these bags. That's why when I first looked at these pieces, like, oh, that's a lot of pieces just for this little roof here. But no, it's for this roof plus the roof that goes here. No minifigures in this bag, but plenty of this piece. And we can build the roofs mostly independently and figure out about how to attach them later, although I don't even think they're attached, because here there's no studs on which to attach the roof, so they're probably just going to be placed on top of the build. And that does make things easier to build. So we gotta do one of them first. I'll do the one for the yellow building first. It looks to be the smaller and easier one. And then before we do a lot of work on top, let's just ask ourselves the question, does it fit? And the answer is yes, although it can slide a lot. I'm not sure if that's by design. But probably because of gravity, it's gonna push it down. Which, yeah, makes sense. So let's build on top of this. Then once those pieces are gone, there'll be a lot less pieces for the other one, the other roof. And this is one of those simpler but more tedious bags if you don't like placing these repetitive pieces. So if you get to this phase, try to relax and enjoy the build. Don't rush it. You're here to have fun. You bought this set for the build experience, so enjoy the build. And if you want, customize the build, make it your own. Like, you can create hidden messages with these pieces if you want, and make it fit better to your liking if that's your style of doing things. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. The giveaway is still open, by the way. So if you have not yet participated, you have the chance to do so. you still have the chance to do so, as long as you're eligible, of course. I'm going to do the outer rim first, just to avoid the sprue marks. But I really don't want them to be visible as much as I can. Okay, so now with the perimeter covered, I can add all the remaining pieces without having to worry about the orientation. I'll just place them there because the sprue mark will not be visible. Here we're going to leave some space for some antenna. All right, so the first roof is mostly done. Just gotta add these pieces, and by the way, these are telescope pieces, minifigure accessories that we're gonna reuse as antenna holders. So again, nice part usage. And even more nice part usage will be ladder. This is a minifigure ladder piece, and this is also going to be used as part of this antenna. Let me just twist it slightly. Actually, I don't want the sprue marks to be visible, so I'll redo that, or just reattach these pieces. Yeah, there we go. And there's an ad playing, so I muted it temporarily. There we go. So that's the first roof. Let's see how it fits. There we go. If I just drop this here, yeah, it fits relatively securely, but it's also very easy to remove. I do wish that they had like some mechanism to lock it in place, just, or maybe add like some studs on this side, although that might not be legal technically. Yeah, I'm not sure what I would have done to address that problem, because this roof is very light. It's very easy to blow it off if you're not paying attention. With that being said, let's move our attention to the next and final roof. We do know that these pieces are going to be involved. I'll try to see the underside of this roof, although it's not easy to do that. We also have some stuff with these pieces to have like a little chimney. So we have to figure that out as well, although I don't think it's that hard to figure out. So I have a 6x6 in one corner, followed by a 1 by something that has to be this one, followed by a 4 by something that can either be this or this, but I'm guessing it's going to be this to have the same length. So basically I'm going to build the roof. Well, actually let's flip this whole thing so that we can attach those tan pieces from the underside, but you have to remember this is mirrored. So the left becomes a right and the right becomes a left and so on. Underneath that there's, let's count the number of studs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Underneath this there's 8. And there's a 1 by here. And then this piece. So if I had to guess, there would be a 1 by 2 that goes here in that color. Or maybe a different color if there's no regular reddish brown. But then from the top, would that be visible? Or do we want to have a hole? I do not see any holes, but on the other hand, it would not be necessarily visible. So we do know that we're going to have this piece, as well as this and these. So my guess it would be something like this, this, and this. That would be my guess for what this roof is going to look like. Actually, we can bring down this part of the building just to figure out what that's going to be. So I don't think it's going to matter whether it's on this side or that side, because the roof itself does not. Let's look carefully. What is the furthest extent of the roof? Yeah, so the roof is not going to extend beyond the borders of this. So anything that happens here we don't care about. And so it means that whichever way we do this should be fine. I'm guessing this is the most likely way. So I'll just start pressing the pieces down, and actually I won't press this piece down because it's going to be hard to remove, but we'll just pretend that it's pressed down. Press down the other pieces and see, does that lead to something that makes sense, something that fits. We can use this piece as a guide. We're basically attaching everything and just pretending the other big tan plate is here. Now let's plug this here and see, does it fit? Doesn't not fit. This is not very stable. I'm going to temporarily link these with, let's say, this piece. I know it's not supposed to be there, but it's going to give the effect of the other plate being there, just so the thing doesn't fall apart. Okay, now we do see that this does fit, and it's quite a snug fit. So this is the solution. Now that we know that, and let's also check the overhangs on both sides before we confirm. So it's not like too far up or too far down. Yeah, so it feels okay to me. So I think this is the correct solution. So with that being said, we can press down that big tan plate. It's going to make the whole thing a lot more stable once it's firmly pressed down. If I had to guess, I would guess that this white piece goes here, but I'm not sure yet. So let's look carefully at the chimney build to make sure it's not being used there. Another add. It's an add where there's a question that has nothing to do with the subject of the ad whatsoever. And the next ad just makes me hungry. And we're back. So I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm gonna need all 3 of them. Never mind then. But at least let's get these pieces out because we want to make sure we don't accidentally use them for anything else. So if they're used here, then we know that we'll be safe. These pieces look very similar to each other. Where's that? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So we have this, we know it's gonna go on the roof at some point. Actually, we know where it's gonna go. This is the top of the roof. And so it's gonna be in this corner, 3 studs down. It's gonna be right here. Next thing we can do is add these. And these are alternating every other row. However, I don't see. Okay, so it looks like I might actually be able to get rid of this one and put it here. Then put this here. And it would lead to the same overall effect. There we go. Yeah, there is no other 1x2 plate in this bag, so that must be the thing that goes there, and we do need something to go there to add stuff on top of it. This and this, where do they go? I'm not sure. Maybe on the underside, like here and here, or maybe they go somewhere else that I just have not noticed yet. I'll try to find out. Yeah, I do see. I do see one of these at least on the underside towards here. We'll find out where to put this, but it looks like these go on the underside. No, towards this part, the bottom. One more. Oh yeah, I was looking for that plate. Okay, now we do this, and usually I would speed this up, but cannot do that when we're live. So you'll enjoy the build process with me. Of course, you can always build the roofs first, put them to the side, build everything else, and then at the end the roofs will be done. So if you don't like leaving the boring stuff for the end, do it first. I actually don't have that many of these pieces left, which is a good sign. We have a bunch of these. Again, I'm doing the perimeter. Okay, all the other pieces, no matter how I attach them, it does not matter. So these can be done a lot faster. But before I do that, is there any... Yeah, there is one place where we do have like an exception for the other antenna. Apparently they do love their TV in this village. That's going to go there. All right, everything else we can do right now. I'll actually attach these pieces since there's so few of them. All right, next we just attach all these pieces and we don't even care about the direction, so it's going to be very fast from here on out. Just like an assembly line. All right, finally we're done with that roof. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. I was a little bit worried for a moment there, but it's not that bad. Now we have some nice build for this antenna. It's going to be a bunch of these claw pieces. I do appreciate that they gave each one a different design instead of repeating the same thing again and again. Although I ran out of claw pieces. I need 2 more. I'm pretty sure there's 5. I only see 3 here. Oh, because I used them here for this roof, but they actually should not be used here. So I'll remove that. Instead, it's this piece that is intended to be used here. And you gotta be careful when attaching things here. You gotta put it on a flat surface. So let's fix this. It's kind of hard to insert that unless you have it at the right angle, literally. And we're gonna liberate these pieces. Put this here. Add these pieces. So this goes here, and then I do need to push them slightly, or push this in slightly. Okay, gives us enough space for the last one, and this one gets attached right here. And then this goes here. somehow these are supposed to attach to the bottom to help with this, but I don't really see how. And I don't think that's gonna make too much of a difference, so I'll just leave these pieces out. I've left out a few other pieces that don't really matter in this set. And so now let's take a look at what this looks like, but first let me just say what bag 24 is about. I'm gonna just position things to be aesthetically pleasing, also in the right. Yeah, this is actually supposed to be like one structure-ish. And this is supposed to go here. This is supposed to go here. Yeah, like that. Bag 24 builds the two roofs of this structure right here. So the residences above the gelato store and the dive shop, although it's actually one residence that's connected through this doorway right here, but the roofs are separate and they attach without any studs at an angle like this. And with that, we are done with the main build. We have one more bag for some. We have one more bag for the fish. We have one more bag for the boat and a few other final details. So for people watching the live stream, I will show you what this looks like as promised. So actually, here's what the structure itself looks like. And then let's put this on the Italian Riviera. So let's get the minifigures out of the way, and I'm gonna temporarily remove them from sight, along with their accessories. And the extra pieces, I'll need all the space I can get. So let's bring it over. Yeah, that's quite large. I'll just, yeah, adjust the camera a little bit. So let's put this in first. So this is the stuff above the gelato store. There's what that looks like from various angles. That's a nice look right there. And we add this on top of the dive shop. I'm trying to, it should attach to some studs, but it's not attaching. It feels a little bit off. Sometimes it can be like that with new Lego parts, like those parts at the bottom that we've never attached anything to them on top of them before. It's the very first time. Okay, so there we go. We're done with building the set itself. I'm surprised, I thought we would attach something here. We have one more bag to go, and I doubt that we're going to be attaching stuff here, but we'll see. Lego has surprised us before. And here's what this looks like from the back, by the way. We don't really see it from the back on the box, but it doesn't look too shabby. The rockwork right here is quite nice. We've built that like on day 2 and day 3. Yeah, this archway looks nice. These stairs look nice. Yeah, so even from the back, they made it look quite presentable. The only part I don't understand is this alleyway that goes into nowhere. That part I don't understand, and maybe this part can be modified, but I'm sure they had a reason for why they did this. And then moving around to the front, we get to see the water, and there used to be a beach here in the original submission, but Lego unfortunately got rid of it, so probably due to budget concerns. We have just a little bit of hint of here with some very wet sand. At least you can interpret it that way if you want. There's basically space for one minifigure there, or possibly the crab. We have another crab right here. So yeah, this build is now done. We're gonna set it again to the side and let's build the boat. I don't think we're gonna need too much space, but we have all the space in the world. I'll bring back the minifigures just because it's good to have them here. Although I don't know if I'll keep the same order. I forgot the order in which I built them and I don't want to go check. So I'll put them in an order that makes sense to me. So we have 8 minifigures so far. We will be getting at least one more, the fisherman of the boat. I'm just going to get back 25 shortly. We got 2 minifigures in back 25. All right. Let's see. We do have one obvious new piece in this bag. And that is the boat, seen here in the light aqua color for the very first time ever in LEGO history. This has never been done before in this color, so it's a first, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be used in other sets in this color in the future. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly sure. I do think that this floats. I think that this floats in the water. I've not tested this particular piece myself, but it looks like it could float. It's fairly lightweight and it has the shape of a boat without any holes on the inside, so I imagine that this piece on its own will float. If you add a bunch of pieces on top of it, will it still float? That I'm not sure. But it's a worthwhile exercise, and I'm going to check the box to see if it says boat does not float. Usually they always do that when the boat does not float. At least for the kids sets. For the 18+ sets, I'm not sure. There's no such mention on the box that the boat does not float. So perhaps it does float. So let's build the minifigures. Oh, the only dual molded legs in the set. Don't get too excited. These are the crash helmets or the motorcycle helmets and not the classic space helmets, unfortunately. I wish they included the classic space helmets, because they did include the air tanks in light blue, or the royal blue color. So why not go all the way and give us classic space helmets in purple again and in the light royal blue? Yeah, I think they should have went the extra mile. Here's the torso of the fisherman. It might be new. It might be new, but don't quote me on that before it gets covered up by the personal flotation device, also known as life jacket. So this guy, it looks like a very experienced individual with no alternative expression though. And he's gonna get a cap like this and the dual molded legs. So these are gonna represent boots basically. So this guy, he's ready to go fishing. So let's set up his boat. But also let's set up this other minifigure, which could be his daughter, or his friend, or his wife. Yeah, I like the curly hair right there. That looks nice. Yeah, so in the end, we got 10 minifigures in this set, as promised, but we only get the 2 at the very end, which I guess is a nice surprise if you're not paying attention. Oh, we have a Vespa, which is appropriate for Italy, and it's in the teal color, which is my favorite, so this is definitely nice to get. It's visible on the box, so not a very big surprise, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. All right. We get an extra tire, by the way. Or is this used for the boat somewhere? Yeah, fits perfectly as expected. And we're gonna have this here, obviously, as well as something to make sure that, like a kickstand. They're actually using a bucket handle as the kickstand, which I think has been done before. Yeah, that's nice, and you can lift it up completely to play around with it, although I don't think most of the target audience of this set are going to be playing too much with the Vespa. The minifigure is going to stand right here. That's how they're going to fit. You can attach their hands to the handlebars. And this is probably the Vespa owner because she has the helmet, and she's also shown with it on the box. That's very likely her Vespa, or she's borrowing it or something. Oh, and we also have a light. And a little bit of an ingot here to just make this look a little bit better. Yeah, that's a good look right there. More complete. There's no backlight though. A bunch of these blue pieces. A bunch of fish as well. I hate this ad. Don't make presumptions about your potential customers. Yeah, we still have one more sticker to go. By the way, we do have the cat from before. This has to go on this piece. Da Kijin. This looks like a price list for the fish store. I see fish and prices or numbers next to them, which I'm guessing they're prices. The tan of the sticker does not match the tan of the piece at all. Like, it's a very off color here. I'm wondering if that was intentional. But anyways, with that, we're done with the sticker sheet, thankfully. Minifigs are done, stickers are done. Okay, let's do the boat. We get 2 oars. Can be clipped onto here. Actually not clipped, but they can be used by the minifigures here. It's actually useful for people who do stop motion animation for them to include this. And we're going to make the boat, we're going to turn it from something that belongs in a 4+ set to something that belongs in an 18+ set. Now this looks very nice. There we go. Looks like we'll be using these tan pieces here. And here. Then we're going to be using these blue plates on top. And finally, some seats. So it looks like it's going to seat 4 people, but in reality, only 2 minifigures will be able to ride the boat at once. Just because there's no way for 2 minifigures to sit side by side like this. The remaining bucket handle is actually used as a bucket handle. We have a small engine. And this thing, I think it's called a till or something like that. Yeah, that looks good. Next up, we're going to build a long fishing rod. It's actually a custom mold that I've not seen before. It looks like it has studs on both sides, so you could use this as a stud reversal piece. Very interesting one. Trying to get it to focus. It's always focusing on the minifigures. Anyway, so there's the fishing rod piece. It's very flexible, and that's probably by design, and there's a small hole at the end, so you can attach some very small pieces here. The smallest type of mini peg hole. You see a larger hole here for the regular bars. Yeah, so this looks nice. You just attach this whole thing here. This is not a sailboat. There are no sails on this boat. But regardless, it's a nice little vessel. We actually do have some rope to tie it to the dock, but that's gonna be done later. First, let's attach the oars using some robot arms to attach those, so that's some nice part usage there. Yeah, that looks really nice. Yeah, you see how you start with a very basic piece that you'd find in a 4+ set, but you add all these other pieces to it, and now it looks like it belongs in an 18+ set. I'm not even kidding. This looks nice. And I do want to turn this into a sailboat, although it's probably a little bit too small for that. But as a rowboat, it looks really nice. Yeah, I could see this being sold at a Lego store on its own, like as a small little gift of purchase, or like a small little set for, you know, those small creator sets, the postcards. I could see them selling this as a set, as a $10 set for maybe 12+. People like to display stuff, or 18+ if they make it like a gift with purchase. But I'm happy that this was included in the set and not made a gift with purchase. It's nice to include this in the set itself so that people don't buy it on day one. They do not miss out. But this could have been the gift with purchase of this set. And that might have been the original intention, actually. We won't know for sure, but it's definitely a possibility. Now these remaining pieces will be attached to the main build in various parts. I'm just gonna try to do some side builds before I bring over that big main build. This is a smart use of these modified plates, because basically we need a flat surface where the fish is going to end up being. And then on this stud, we're going to attach these transparent clear pieces to represent ice. So that's pretty smart. And the fishes fit perfectly together. If you flip this upside down, it will no longer fit, or right side up rather. It has to be done this way. It's a tight squeeze. So kudos to the designer for figuring this one out. It's such a simple thing, but yeah, just look at that. That's quality right there. So that's done. We have what looks to be a bench, done very, very simply. Oh, we get another cat in this bag as well. There's a look at that cat. This one is in dark tan. I'll put that cat right here just for a moment, and then I'll bring the two cats together. Okay, so we have the bench. This sign is going to get attached to this. This is going to be attached to the main build directly. We have a small little dish piece. I wonder what this is supposed to represent. I don't know what that is actually. This, I don't know where it goes. Maybe in the boat, or maybe here? It actually goes underneath. So we have this thing. It's going to be a parasol of some sort. Now we're going to have a table. There's one of these bars. And so the idea is that we want to insert it this way. Actually, no, they actually want us to do this and this. This side is better. And this on top. All right. What do we do with this? It might be for the boat. Might be. Oh yeah, because this and this are supposed to be at the same level. So I have to like disassemble this whole thing, add this underneath, and put it back. Not a very big deal. Yeah, thankfully it came out all in one piece. Speaking of one piece, that might be my next build after this. Not today though. I know a lot of you want me to build the Going Merry pirate ship, So that's definitely on my to-do list. We still have a bunch of constructions to do. At least one more of these things right here. Yeah, close enough. This, I believe, is an extra piece. This is probably used in the boat. Yeah, like so. This rope is used. This rope is probably extra. And these oars are probably for the use by the minifigure, so I'll just put them here. This is extra. Actually, this might not be extra. I don't see where it's used, so give it another quick look. Yeah, I don't see where this is used, so I'll just consider it to be an extra piece. Same thing for this plate, well, that should be extra. At this point, we can, tire is also an extra, although it could be used with the boat. All right, so let's just say what this bag gives us. Bag 25 finishes the build with this nice little rowboat and a few side builds that will all be attached to the main build very soon. We also get two minifigures, the fisherman and this woman who drives a Vespa, and she has a helmet, and we also get a cat in the set as well. And with that being said, let's attach everything to the main build. This goes here. The boat can just float wherever, so we'll get back to that. This goes here. This plate of whatever goes here, I don't know why, but it goes there. This should fit here. It looks like a tight squeeze. Actually here. This bench goes here, right next to it. These go here. Yeah, I can adjust them a little bit. And the final one goes here. Then we have some rope right here that ties up. Basically ties up the boat to here. And these oars, I guess they can just be used by the minifigures. This thing can attach? Not really. It's just gonna be placed here and we hope that it doesn't fall into the water. But yeah, that's it. And with that, we are done with the build. Let's put the minifigures and other accessories in their right spots, including the stuff from previous bags. Before I do that, I'm going to reset the music. Are there any ads? Not yet. So you might remember, if you were here on day one, that I held on to this piece just because it would keep falling apart whenever I would move this build. It's not really held very well in place, so now is the time to start placing these back in their spots. So this goes here in the barrel, right there. This crab is actually stealing this gelato and is going to be placed at the back of the set. So we'll get back to this crab whenever we rotate this. Then we have, this is part of, I think, the gelato place, and same thing for this. So let's go there. All right, so this, and let's get the minifigures out of the way, and I'll basically place them in a way similar to what we see on the box. The box is quite large. It might actually be easier for me to look at a picture of the box instead of the actual box. Okay, so basically we have this lady here on the balcony. The Vespa rider, obviously on the Vespa. She's holding her helmet in her hand, loosely, although that's not going to be easy to replicate, but whatever. Yeah, this is not going to get held in place very well. Can we put the helmet on this thing, at least? Yes, okay. Close enough. This dude has a gelato. He's standing right here. This girl also has a gelato, which is this one. So I'm going to remove it from the crab once again. Give it to her. And they're both holding them up like this. You don't want your ice cream to fall on the ground. There we go. This guy is obviously in his boat. The photographer is sitting on the bench. Of course, you can readjust the minifigures and put them wherever you like, but I'm just following one possible suggestion on the box. It looks like the grandma is here. And she's with this guy. This leaves her coming down the stairs and her exiting the gelato shop. Like that. And that's all the minifigures. The cats, there's this cat right here. The other cat, I don't see where it is. It might be inside somewhere. Or we'll just put it right here. And I'm putting the gray cat on the dark tan and the dark tan cat and the dark tan cat on the gray, just to increase the contrast a little bit. Crab, we'll put the crab right here. And yeah, we're done with those. Just a couple pieces to put in the gelato store. This Vespa does not have any anti-studs, so there's no good way to hold on to it. Well, this won't fit in a stud either. I'm just thinking, like, for people who want to put this on display and not have to worry about the Vespa all the time, what would be a good solution? There's no obvious connection points except for this stud right here, which is used by the light. There's this handlebar right here. So I guess you could clip something to here to hold on to it. But yeah, it will fall off very easily. It's not like those big Ninjago motorbikes that have very thick wheels. Those are very hard to knock over, but this one very easily gets knocked over. The other solution is to put someone or something here. So like maybe this girl. Yeah, her and her ice cream is gonna help. Still not a perfect solution, but better than nothing. And this boat also wants to fall off very easily, but at least it's held by the rope from one side, and you can attach the rope on. You can attach the extra rope, the second rope, from this side if you want to. At least you have that. So let's take off this roof, this whole building actually, and in here we'll put the gelato right here, and this is either ice or a sponge or something that goes right here. I don't know what it is, but that's where it's supposed to go. And with that, we are done completely with the build and accessorizing and doing all that. So the build is done, it's completed. And from now on, we have a very nice display piece of the Italian Riviera. What are your thoughts on this set? What do you think? I like this set. I might even love this set because it has a lot of good things going for it. Yeah, let's take a 360-degree spin. Oh, some of the stuff falls off easily. Just be careful when moving the set around. This is a display set more than a play set. Although I do think older kids or kids who are careful will be able to enjoy playing with this. So I can try to imagine myself as a kid playing with this set. As long as you're a little bit careful, you can probably get away with giving this to your kids if they're the type not to destroy everything. So a 4-year-old will probably destroy this, but a kid 7+ might be able to play with it if they appreciate like dollhouses and things of that nature. Because essentially this is a big dollhouse, but we just don't call it a dollhouse because then adults are less likely to buy it, especially men. But that's essentially what it is. Just like an action figure versus doll. So yeah, it's a very nice building, and it's a nice set overall. And when I first saw the set and I realized that they were doing this reddish orange color, I was very happy because I always wanted to see what a modular building would look like in reddish orange. I thought, wouldn't it be great if Lego did a building that's completely in this color or mostly in this color, and this is what it looks like. And the results are stunning. And as I said yesterday, this by itself could be its own build, could be its own set with very, very minor modifications. You just move a couple pieces around. And here you have like a house. You could put this like in a street in a Lego city. It's very minifigure scale, very human scale, like very easy for humans to deal with. It's not like those massive, massive sets that cost an arm and a leg and you have to dedicate space to them. This you can put pretty much anywhere. It's very small, much smaller than a regular modular building, for example. But even the set overall, it's not that large, although it is not small either. Because while the buildings themselves are not that large, when you put them all together, you add the sidewalk, you add the rock work, and the water on the other side, it does tend to take up a lot of space. Yeah, look at that satellite. Look at the planters everywhere. There's lots of detail everywhere you look. Nothing is very boring. Like you could say maybe this and this is the same color. It's a little bit boring, but you do have stuff to break the monotony here, here, here. So overall, it's not that bad. Here, I love the nice part usage. I love the color. And I noticed that in each case, here it's reddish orange plus the dark orange. Here it's light yellow along with tan. And here it's a medium nougat along with tan. So we're not always using the same color, but we're breaking it up with a little bit of other colors just to give it a bit more personality. And so far, I'm focusing a lot more on the exterior of the build compared to the interior because most of the time people are going to be looking at this from the exterior. Yes, there is an interior. It does have some very interesting building solutions, but once you've built the set, you're probably not going to look at the interior too much, unless you're an interior designer or someone who really, really cares about set interiors more than most casual Lego fans. So this set has some very interesting solutions, some interesting pieces. The minifigures are pretty standard with the exception of some new prints, like this new print for the gentleman right there, and for the older woman right here. So some new minifigure parts, but this is not a set that focuses on minifigures, unlike the Lego Ideas vending machine, the minifigure vending machine from June. That one is even though there's a build, but the focus is on the minifigures, which we get all exclusive minifigures, and that's still an excellent set. But this is a set that has a different purpose. It's much more focused on the build and the aesthetics and the whole vibe of the Italian Riviera or the Mediterranean Riviera, if you prefer, because there's nothing here in the set that strongly links it to Italy. Yes, there's the gelato, etc. But if you want to, you could reimagine this set in some other part of the Mediterranean or even the world, because there are other parts of the world that have similar architectures. So you could integrate this into one of those layouts that you have if you have them. So at this point, I'm going to save the details of the set, the interior details, for my final review, just because I don't think a lot of people want me to go over every single interior detail right now and only to repeat that in a review. But do let me know if you're interested in specific details about the interior. You can let me know in the chat. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another set that's related to this one somehow, and I'm going to do a comparison. If you want to also guess what that set is, you can leave your guess in the chat. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you probably know what the set is, or you might have an idea at least. It's a set that I built, I disassembled, and I rebuilt. Partially rebuilt. Well, partially disassembled and fully rebuilt. That gives you a bit of a hint. It is, of course, the Lego Modular Tudor Corner from the Lego Icons theme. So here's a comparison of the two sets. You can see that the Tudor Corner is a lot larger in terms of it being an actual building, although the footprint of the Italian Riviera is larger. So they're not done to the same scale. Like, they're both minifigure scale, but the Tudor corner is a lot larger. The Italian Riviera it feels more human to me, like it feels tighter, it feels cozier compared to the Tudor corner, which looks large by comparison. Or if you think the Tudor corner is a standard, then this is going to look small by comparison. With the Tudor corner, you get one big building. With the Italian Riviera, you get 3 small buildings that are somehow related. So I guess it's a difference in terms of what you're looking for. The price of this Tudor corner is $230 US, if I recall correctly, or $300 Canadian. This one is 300 US or $350 Canadian. So if you're comparing between the two, this one is a little bit more expensive. And in terms of the price per piece or price per value of stuff, which one is better? This one has stickers, this one has no stickers, only prints. They both have 10 minifigures that are fairly generic, nothing super special or collectible. So the focus in both cases is mainly on the builds. So I'm guessing it all depends on whether you prefer this architecture style and whether you want something that can go straight into your Lego city, because this is the modular standard that Lego's been using since 2007 with the base plate and the pinholes, versus this, which is more of a standalone thing. If you want to integrate this in your modular city, the only part that's very easy to integrate is this, because you could just take this off and plug it into your city with some space to spare. You could have like a garden surrounding this. So this is easy to integrate. These two buildings, like the top parts of them, you could remove them and make some adjustments and also integrate these into your city. But then the bottom part, you're going to have some trouble with because of this angle, which does look nice, but it does make it difficult to integrate into an existing grid. So to do that, you would have to either undo this angle, or you would attach, you'd find a base plate, attach lots of tiles on top of it, and then attach the build from one half. I'm going to try to see if I can explain this in an easy way. I'll have to find some pieces. Yeah, I have some pieces lying around to basically explain the principle of what I'm trying to show here. Just give me a moment to disassemble the build that was there. So with this set, you essentially have a design that goes like this. So if you want this to be on the grid, you're going to have to decide, I'm going to use this as my grid or this. And you're going to basically put tiles under the one that you're not using. So if you're going to use this, for example, then basically this would be a tiled surface. And if it's fully tiled, then you could eventually incorporate this into your Lego city with some, you have to manage this space that's all around. So hopefully that was clear. Basically, you gotta attach this to a base plate, but with tiles underneath. So basically base plate, then plate, then this tile on the other side. And then that's how you integrate this into a Lego city. And you're gonna have to accommodate for the stuff that's all around. So either you make it such that this is the last building in your Lego city, and then this is the water all surrounding it, or you remove this, and then it becomes like part of, you put it like next to other buildings. So yeah, it all depends on how you want to approach things. So with that being said, we're done with this build. It's too late to start a new set at this point, but you can always leave your comments as to what you want me to build next. And is there any other set you want me to compare this to in my review? A set that I built recently and that I've already reviewed. So if you have any suggestions, do leave them in the chat or the comments, and I'll consider them as I can. Do you have any final comments, final remarks on this set or on the channel in general? What do you want me to build next? So I'll give people 1 more minute to answer, then we'll wrap things up as usual. All right, thank you everyone for joining the live stream. It was a pleasure to be with you here today, and I hope you have a wonderful day or evening wherever you happen to be in the world. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.